The 2016 NBA draft has aged kind of interestingly. There's always been a ton of discussion who would go number 1 overall in a 2016 redraft. It was pretty much 1 out of 6 guys for quite some time. And throughout the first couple of years of this draft class, the consensus number 1 overall pick in a redraft may not even go top 10 anymore. And I do think somebody after the 2024 season has emerged as the number 1 pick in a 2016 redraft, and that is what we are going to be doing today. If you guys do enjoy these redrafts, I would appreciate it if you drop a thumbs up, and like always, let me know what you agree with or disagree with in the comments below. And let's start things off. The Philadelphia 76ers had the number 1 overall pick in the 2016 NBA draft. They were in the middle of the trust the process era. They ended up going with Ben Simmons out of LSU. He's obviously not going to go number 1 here. It's going to be Jaylen Brown, who went 3rd overall to the Boston Celtics. If you go back to the night of the 2016 draft, everybody thought this was a reach. A lot of people thought that they were going to take the New England kid and Chris Dunn from Providence. But Jaylen Brown, in my opinion, has turned out to be the best player from this draft class up to the current day NBA. I mean, Brown just won Finals MVP this year. What more can you want to accomplish at the highest level? He's a 3-time All-Star. He also won the Eastern Conference Finals MVP award this year as well. He was an All-NBA member in 2023. Also got the Supermax extension from the Boston Celtics in the 2023 offseason. And over the last 4 years in the NBA, Jaylen Brown has averaged 24.5 points, 6 rebounds, and 3.5 assists, shooting 49% from the field, 36% from 3, 75% from the line, has been one of the best two-way players in the league because of his elite defensive ability on the perimeter, in the post, and off-ball defense as well. And in my opinion, Jaylen Brown is the clear 1.1 in a 2016 redraft. He's going to be pairing up with Joel Embiid in Philadelphia. The Lakers went with Brandon Ingram with the 2nd overall pick. He obviously headlined the Anthony Davis trade back in the 2019 offseason, but they're going to go somebody that went 11th overall. They're going to get a big man here. Yeah, I'm going to have Domantas Sabonis go 2nd overall in a redraft. Ever since getting traded to Sacramento at the 2022 trade deadline, I feel like Domantas Sabonis has elevated himself into a new tier. Over the last 2.5 years, Sabonis has averaged 19 points, 13 rebounds a night, as well as 7 assists for a center, and has shot 60% from the field and 35% from 3. He has back-to-back top 10 MVP finishes, back-to-back All-NBA third-team appearances, and in my opinion, he's one of the best offensive hubs in all of basketball currently, and he's going to go to the Lakers here, and he'd probably still headline an Anthony Davis trade package. When you look at individual talent, Jamal Murray may not be better than some of the guys I'm going to have go after him in a redraft, but when you take into account playoff clutch factor, Jamal Murray has to go top 3 here, and Boston is getting their point guard with the 3rd overall pick out of Kentucky. Jamal Murray has definitely struggled to stay healthy since the 2019 season, appearing in 59 games in 2020, 48 games in 2021, not playing at all in 2022 because of an ACL injury, 65 games in 2023, and 59 games in 2024. But when he's on the floor, in my opinion, he's one of the more entertaining point guards to watch. He's super crafty at getting to the rim, and he's just been a reliable offensive player for Denver. Over the last 3 seasons, he's averaged 21 points, 6 assists, and 4 rebounds a night, while shooting 47% from the field, 41% from 3, and 85% from the line. But it really matters what you're getting out of him in the playoffs. It was a historic 2023 playoff run for Jamal Murray, averaging 27 points in round 1 against Minnesota, 25 points against Phoenix in round number 2, and then 32.5 points per game against the Lakers in the Western Conference Finals. He was a perfect number 2 to Nikola Jokic, and he's going to be in the backcourt with Marcus Smart at this time because this pick was from the Brooklyn Nets in the KG Paul Pierce deal. Phoenix originally took Dragan Bender here at number 4 to be a nice floor spacing power forward to pair him up with Devin Booker. Instead, they're getting somebody that went later in the 1st round but can do what they probably imagined they would get out of Dragan Bender, and that's going to be Pascal Siakam out of New Mexico State. I think there's a real legitimate argument that you could have Pascal Siakam go 2nd overall or 3rd overall. I think these guys are in their own tier outside of Jaylen Brown with the number 1 pick. Siakam won the Most Improved Player award in 2019, and since then, he has averaged 22 points, 8 rebounds, and 4.5 assists a night while shooting 49% from the field, and was a vital contributor to the Toronto Raptors championship team in 2019, and helped lead the Indiana Pacers this past season to the Eastern Conference Finals after getting traded to them back in January. And him and Devin Booker could be a nice shooting guard power forward duo for years to come. And the last guy that I think you can make an argument to go 2nd overall to the Lakers was the guy that originally went there, Brandon Ingram, and I'm going to have him go 5 here to Minnesota instead of Chris Dunn. I think we're at the point where Ingram's value may be the lowest it's been in quite some time, and Ingram is still a really solid player in this league. He won the Most Improved Player award in 2020, a year after Pascal Siakam did, and since then he's averaged averaged 23 points, 5.5 rebounds, and 5 assists a night, and has elevated his game ever since he got traded to the Pelicans back in 2019. I thought there was real momentum for Brandon Ingram as a playmaking wing that can be a super efficient mid-range pull-up shooter and can get to the spots he wants after the 2023 season. It was a down year in 2024. We'll see what team he ends up on after this. But here in the 2016 redraft, he's going to be paired up with Andrew Wiggins and Karl-Anthony Towns in Minnesota. But who knows? Maybe he was going to get traded still to Chicago during the 2017 draft. Now, I don't think this player should go in the top 5, but I don't think he should go lower than pick 6, and that is going to be DeJounte Murray going to the New Orleans Pelicans. DeJounte Murray was the 29th overall pick in this draft, and he's going to shoot up to number 6 here in a redraft to go to the team he was actually just traded for this offseason. Murray actually finished runner-up in most improved player voting during the 2022 season, and since that year, he's averaged 21.5 points, 7 assists, and 6 rebounds a night, as well as steal and a half as well over the course of those 3 seasons between San Antonio and Atlanta. He was so good after that 2022 season, he was traded for 3 first-round picks by the Atlanta Hawks, and was still solid in Atlanta and was just flipped this offseason to New Orleans for 2 more first-round picks. Up until this season, Buddy Hield actually had the most amount of points from this draft class until Jaylen Brown surpassed him, and he's going to go number 7 to Denver here since Jamal Murray's already off the board. A lot of these guys from the 2016 draft have headlined major trades. Domantas Sabonis with Tyrese Haliburton back in 2022, Brandon Ingram with AD in 2019. Siakam's been traded, DeJounte Murray's been traded, and Buddy Hield headlined a DeMarcus Cousins trade back in the 2017 season. And Hield has been one of the best 3-point shooters in the NBA since he's entered the league. He shot 40% from 3 on over 4,800 3-point attempts. You're not going to get much better than that in this league. And you're going to add in one of the best shooters from the last 10 years to Nikola Jokic. That would actually turn out pretty well for Denver. A lot of these guys had disappointing rookie seasons, and Ben Simmons was hurt throughout all of his rookie year. So Malcolm Brogdon ended up winning Rookie of the Year as the 36th overall pick, and he's going to go number 8 to Sacramento here. So we're going to have Sacramento keep the 8th overall pick. They're not trading Marquise Chris to Phoenix, and they're going to get a nice point guard option to pair up with DeMarcus Cousins. I'm not sure if this would have delayed a DeMarcus Cousins trade at all, but you're getting the guy that won Rookie of the Year, was really solid for Milwaukee in the first 3 years of his career, and then had a really nice stint in Indiana over the course of those 3 years from 2020 to 2022. He averaged 19 points, 6 assists, and 5 rebounds on really solid efficiency, and then was traded to the Boston Celtics in the 2022 offseason and won 6th Man of the Year in the 2023 season. He was a major piece going to Portland in the Drew Holiday trade, and then was traded to the Washington Wizards this offseason, and probably is going to get moved once again at the trade deadline. But Sacramento is getting a really solid play here at number 8, a lot better than who they ended up getting later in this draft in Georgia's Papagiannis, and who originally went here in Marquise Chris. So I really had no idea where I was going to have him go. The number 1 overall pick in this draft was Ben Simmons, and I'm going to have him go number 9 here to Toronto. I thought maybe Sacramento could have been a good fit as well, because he probably would never have broken down mentally in Sacramento in what happened in Philadelphia, because Ben Simmons has so many accolades for somebody that's just played 4 good years in the NBA. He's a 3-time All-Star. He won the 2018 Rookie of the Year award. He was on a 2020 All-NBA team. He's been on 2 different All-Defensive teams. And from 2018 to 2021, over the course of those 4 years, he averaged 16 points, 8 rebounds, 7.5 assists, just under 2 steals, just under 1 block a night, shot 56% from the field, and was one of the better defenders in all of basketball. It's a shame he never really developed an outside shot, and it just did not work out in Philadelphia after the 2021 playoff exit. But maybe things would have been a little bit differently in Toronto, and they could have actually maybe developed a jumper in Ben Simmons. They did the same in Scotty Barnes, who wasn't a good shooter whatsoever coming out of Florida State. So maybe things would have been a little bit differently if Ben Simmons ended up in any city other than Philadelphia. At number 10 here, I'm going to have another 2nd round pick. He went 32nd overall. We're going to have Ivica Zubac go to the Milwaukee Bucks instead of Thon Maker. So we're going to go big man once again for the Milwaukee Bucks, and Zubac has been a really solid big man ever since he got traded to the Clippers back at the 2019 trade deadline. What a trade that was for Magic Johnson and the Lakers. Yeah, trading Ivica Zubac and Michael Beasley for Mike Muscala, not the greatest trade ever. And Zubac has been a really solid big man over the last 3 years, where he's averaged 11 points, 9 rebounds, and over a block a night while shooting 64% from the field, and has been a really solid rotational piece for the LA Clippers and have been the backbone of that front court for the last couple of years. We're gonna have back-to-back centers go here. At number 11, Orlando is not getting Domantas Sabonis to send him to OKC for Serge Serge Ibaka, but they're going to try to do the same with Jakob Poeltl. Poeltl originally went 9th overall in this draft. Poeltl was pretty much a backup big man in Toronto and San Antonio to start off his career. He was featured in the DeMar DeRozan Kawhi Leonard trade back in the 2018 offseason. But since 2022 in San Antonio and then back in Toronto where he got moved at the 2023 trade deadline, he's averaged 12.5 points, 9 rebounds, and 3 assists a night, while also shooting 63% from the field and getting a block and a half a night as well. Poeltl's actually a solid big man in this league. He's a little bit overpaid currently, but he would be a nice center in Orlando that could probably develop behind Nikola Vucevic for a few years, and they could eventually start for them once they eventually moved Nikola Vucevic. The 2016 draft really doesn't age the best. There's some good rotational pieces that are going to finish out this redraft from picks 12 to 15. First off, we have Caris LeVert going to the Utah Jazz at number 12. This pick was originally Taurean Prince out of Baylor, who we'll get to in a little bit. And LeVert's been a crafty scorer since he's entered the league. He originally went 20th overall to the Brooklyn Nets. They actually got this pick by trading away Thad Young to the Indiana Pacers. And then LeVert officially broke out in the 2020 season, averaging 19 points, 4.5 assists, and 4 rebounds a night for the Nets. And then has bounced around on a couple teams since then, spent a year and a half in Indiana, and then the last 2.5 years in Cleveland. And he's been a solid rotational wing for them over the last few seasons. We have the 19th overall pick out of Florida State, Malik Beasley, go to the Phoenix Suns here at 13. Beasley's been on a couple teams in his career, including the Denver Nuggets, the Minnesota Timberwolves, the Utah Jazz, the LA Lakers, the Milwaukee Bucks, and is going to be playing for the Detroit Pistons in 2024. And over the last 6 seasons, Malik Beasley has shot 39% from 3 on 4 attempts a night. We're going to have Taurean Prince go to the Chicago Bulls here at 14 instead of Denzel Valentine. Prince has been a nice rotational wing since the 2018 season. He actually averaged 14 points, 4.5 rebounds, shot 39% from 3 for the Atlanta Hawks in the 2018 season, and then has bounced around on a couple teams since then. He was moved to Brooklyn in the summer of 2019, spent a year and a half there, then got traded to Cleveland in 2021, and then spent the 2022 and 23 seasons with Minnesota, spent this past season with the Lakers, and will be spending this upcoming season with the Milwaukee Bucks. And the last pick here in the 2016 redraft, we're gonna have Chris Dunn go 15th to the Denver Nuggets. I mentioned him earlier. He was the 5th overall pick to the Minnesota Timberwolves and was part of the Lowry Markkanen, Zach LaVine trade from the Timberwolves to the Bulls for Jimmy Butler on the night of the 2017 draft. Dunn has had an up and down NBA career so far. He did peak in the 2018 season with the Chicago Bulls offensively, averaging 13.5 points and 6 assists. He always struggled to be a consistent shooter, but has reinvented his game as an elite perimeter defender, and he just spent the last season with the Utah Jazz and will be spending this upcoming season with the LA Clippers. So that's it for me. I hope you guys did enjoy this 2016 redraft. Like always, if you did enjoy it, I'd appreciate it if you drop a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments what you agree with or disagree with, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.